It's time for the Steve and Kyle podcast with Steve.
Inevitably, this is the way it always is. You're going to have to evict those people. I think Annette would be the one to do it. Chucking belongings onto the front.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't care.
Wailing children and another backpack full of clothes onto the lawn.
Yeah, she's brutal.
Just
stone cold.
Just heartless, saying, kid crying, Mommy and Daddy should have paid.
And Kyle.
This whole episode was a digression because we started talking about your hangover.
Why I'm hungover, so I guess
you want to wrap it up right now in the next 20 seconds or so?
I had too much to drink.
There you go, folks.
Boy, that one really got away from us, huh?
Live on tape from APS 3 point whatever, it's the Steve and Kyle podcast.
You still think you could play that, don't you?
I gotta tell you, after 5 years. Well, no, I guess we haven't had that music for probably 5 years.
It's been close. Probably 4.5.
I feel like I could almost hit that with my eyes closed. At least on the air piano side.
So, ignoring the fact that for 6 weeks we had an actual piano here, that Annette brought home a piano or a keyboard from work. We set it up.
Yeah. Was it 6 weeks?
Yeah.
I think it was a couple days.
There was one time where we plugged it in.
There was a time I played the intro.
Yeah, I remember that.
If I remember right.
I think it made the best of at the end of the year.
Yeah, the year in review. Yeah,
the year in review.
So, I think I could do it.
But because every week you air piano it, and I think he still thinks he has it.
Here's what's crazy about this song, Malt Shop Up, by our friend Kevin MacLeod, is that I haven't tired of it.
No.
We've listened to that, and I listened to it more than you because I put this thing together.
Yeah, you've probably listened to it 3 times as much as I
Yet
have.
I'm sitting here every weekend that we record this thing, and I'm ready to snap my fingers. I'm doing the air piano.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few spots in there that really
really hit.
Yeah, and it's like, if I heard that in concert, that would be my free bird.
Do you think Kevin MacLeod does concerts? Kevin MacLeod, by the way, if you're not familiar, with the trope that just won't die on this podcast, one of many, very many. Kevin MacLeod is a guy that produces royalty-free music, and if you do a podcast or if you do YouTube videos or if you're any kind of vlogger who needs music where you don't have to pay royalties to ASCAP, BMI, the artists, this is what you go. You search out royalty-free music, and his website is like the holy grail of royalty-free music. We still have no idea how the man makes a living because there aren't really any ads on his website or anything like that for revenue. I don't know. Maybe he just does it for the love of the game. But so that's what he does. But do you think would people show up to a concert for Kevin MacLeod? Would it just be a bunch of podcasters and vloggers?
Yeah, like, that's our intro!
Play the 60-second version!
Play the 120 beats per minute version!
That's the weather bed!
Do you want to play one of our favorite games on this podcast?
Yeah, of course.
How much is Kevin MacLeod worth?
Have we done that?
There's a good chance we've already done this version of the game.
Probably, but it would have been years ago. I'm sure it's grown exponentially.
So because, in fairness, we have no idea how he makes money.
Is
he
it
owns the website.
Is it MacLeod?
Correct.
Do you have it pulled up?
I do.
Oh, so you already know.
Yes.
Okay.
He owns the website that we got this music from, Incompetech.
By the way, you type in how much is Kevin?
Mm-hmm.
How much is Kevin Hart worth? How much is Kevin Bacon worth? How much is Kevin Costner worth? How much is Kevin Van Damme worth? How much is Kevin O'Leary worth? How much is Kevin Gates worth? How much is Kevin Durant worth? How much is Kevin James worth? And how much is Kevin Hart net worth?
Okay. So no MacLeod on the top Google
He didn't
searches.
make the top 10.
We're the only ones looking for this then. As we talked, we don't know how he makes money. He owns his website, but And now I know there are some of his songs on that website that you can purchase.
Yeah.
We did not go that route because we already have the banger that is Malt
one and done. I mean, we found it.
Yeah. And I just don't believe that people are actively going there to buy the songs. Now, I'm not saying nobody has. Obviously, that's not true. I don't know how that would be enough to make a living off of. It'd be like you and I trying to make a living off of our merch sales.
No, miserable.
Miserable.
I think we made $4 last month.
Impossible to survive.
That's not a lie either. That is accurate.
That's our own fault. I mean, we haven't.
StephenKyle.com/merch. You want to pick up the latest.
I have a message up to Philip. I need Philip. We need your answer, buddy. We wanted.
He hasn't replied.
He replied that he would, some weird guilt that he would feel bad about taking money, which is ridiculous.
No, what makes the world go
Here's
round.
the deal,
That's why
folks.
all of us have jobs. All of us have jobs because we need to make a living in some way.
And when you're good at it,
many of us are lucky and we love our jobs, but there are many that aren't. But bottom line, everyone has a skill, so they can get paid for that skill.
Yes. And Philip is very good at what he's done.
Maybe we could go back to like the pioneer days, where instead of money, we just barter with Philip. Like, what do we have? What can we do that he needs?
Yeah. Do you think Philip has any interest in a dreidel?
You're just looking around the room.
Yeah. Do you think Philip has any interest in the Thunder in Paradise collection? And we'd sign it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we were a big part of that series.
Do you think Philip has any interest in a package of Zachary Thin Mints?
Look, it's okay, Philip. We'll send you whatever you want.
Yes.
Maybe we'll take a bunch of pictures of all the garbage that we're surrounded with, and you pick out what you want.
Right.
We'll send it. Maybe you need a mixer. That would be a good reason for us to finally set up our new one.
That would be, yeah. If you want a mixer, let us know. It's consider it a payment for art rendered.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody, please harass Philip at Phil Apart, PhilApart on Twitter to tell him that we want to pay him for his art.
Mm-hmm.
We're not trying to make this a hassle. We want to give him money, and in return, he will give us some of that beautiful, beautiful, tasty, delicious art that we can then sell to a couple of people who are willing to have that on their bodies.
Yeah.
So, but we digress. We're back to, again, this is one of our favorite games.
I love finding out. I think it's human nature to want to know how much money someone has.
I think it's natural.
Because it's very taboo to, hey, Kyle, how much money you got in the bank?
Right.
That would be completely violating all social norms.
Right. I love... This is one that I honestly, when I started searching for it, I kind of thought, this is the one. We're not going to get a hit.
Yeah.
Now, it's not an exact hit. It's a decent-sized range.
Mm-hmm.
But is this the lowest of the bar for people Googling net worth for celebrities? And I'm doing the air quotes.
Yeah.
Because I would bet Kevin MacLeod would not walk around saying that he's a celebrity.
No, not at all. I feel like he would be well aware of his place.
Bit of a jerk, though.
Yeah, he was kind of a jerk. Because you got your A-level celebrities, like, The Rock. Mm-hmm. You got who would be a good B-level celebrity?
Oh boy,
like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, and I'd say a lot of athletes. You know, not not LeBron James, but basketball players, football players. A lot of them are multi-millionaires. Would not be picked out of a crowd by the majority of the public.
And the only reason that people would pick them out in any way is just because if it's a basketball player or a football player, they're going to be massive. Yeah. So you're going to look at them and be like, I don't know who that guy is, but I bet he plays whatever, football.
I feel like to be at least a B celebrity, you have to have infiltrated two forms of, pop culture or media, right? Because if you're just a athlete,
So you're saying somebody like Charles Barkley qualifies as an A because he was a star basketball player, and now he is a broadcaster. Or
he's a broadcaster. Yeah. I would think Charles Barkley is an A.
So Michael Jordan. Yeah, I think he gets the pass. He's obviously an A.
He's top
even
tier
if
A.
he was just an athlete,
yes,
he would have still been obviously an A-list.
Yeah, I think because he permeated basketball. I mean, Space Jam was a wild success in the 90s, and he's not just a basketball player. He's literally the best basketball player of all time.
Oh, are we starting a debate? Are we? What's it? You taking Jordan?
I'm taking Jordan.
I mean, I'll take LeBron.
Oh, I thought you were going to take Pippen.
Horace Grant, real underrated.
You know nobody talks about Charles Oakley.
I mean, I think he deserves to be in the conversation.
Yeah, but on the level of celebrity in terms of tiers, Kevin MacLeod is not near the top 5 tiers. I would argue.
Where are we? Where do we rank? Are we higher than Kevin MacLeod?
No.
So you're saying we're lower than Kevin MacLeod?
Definitely.
And what is Kevin MacLeod, do you think? D?
I was going to say I. A, B, C, D.
All right, so we're J.
G, H, I. I would put us as J to L.
I love the idea of a shirt with our faces on it.
J-level celebrities.
J-level celebrities.
Yeah, and I'll put that on the poll. What level celebrity are Steve and Kyle? A through J, K through Z are your 2 options.
I think, no, break it. Oh, yeah, because it's got to be 2 options.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Twitter I can do more, so I can just do this on. Yeah. I'll do a couple pairings. You can find that. You can tell us where we rank in terms of the celebrity meter, which is idiotic.
I mean,
even imply.
But we have to, like you said, you have to excel in 2 different things.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like I'm doing okay in my job. I'm doing fine in my job.
Sure.
Obviously, have my budding social media career with Second Chance Jeeps at Second Chance Jeeps on Instagram and also on YouTube. I mean, you are a runaway star in the mortgage denial business. People have been talking about that.
Yeah.
All right, so you're saying J through L? I'm happy with that.
On Twitter, we have 4 options.
Okay.
A through E, F through J, K through P, Q through Z.
All right.
This is going to hurt.
I don't think we'll be Q through Z. I bet we'll be whatever the previous one was.
K through P.
K through P.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I like that, though. I think that's a level of celebrity that most people dream.
We're above all those Z idiots.
Dream to achieve.
That's right. We've hit the big time. We're M-level celebrities.
Oh, but we're eyeing L real hard.
L's in the
sights.
Yeah, it's in our sights, and that's why we're trying to make other interviews happen so we can up our alphabet in terms of celebrity. But before we get to that, because we do have something to talk about in regards to that, interviews and trying to up our celebrity level, we do have an update. We need to finish the How Much is Kevin MacLeod Worth game.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but we digress.
Now, I told you this is a wide range. It's not narrowed down, but this is also essentially peeking at the tax returns of like a regular person kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's a wide range. So, Steve, do you have an estimate?
Kevin MacLeod.
On Kevin MacLeod's net worth.
So as far as we know, the only thing he is known for, barely, is his royalty-free music website. I don't think he, as far as I know, he wasn't a, successful basketball player, and he's sitting on millions.
I'll say this. His music has been used more than 1,000 times in movies.
Oh.
Also been used in some
movies.
Commercial video games as well as in a large number of YouTube videos and pornographic films.
Hey, how about that? Good for him.
Would that'd be weird,
who
right?
says porno doesn't pay?
Would that be weird? Like if, like one of our like the blind ice cream taste test you and I did. And if that's just playing in the background of a porno movie. I don't what a weird way to find out that.
Yeah. That'd be a little weird.
Just because they need literally any video on the planet that they don't have to pay for in the background of this staged porn film.
Yeah.
And there's Steve and I eating Halo Top and Ben and Jerry's.
So, before you said that his music has been used 1,000 times in movies, I would have said he is worth $300,000.
Sure.
Which I think is...
It's a good number.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, he's 48 years old. That's,
Yeah.
That's, if you're worth $300,000.
He's closing in on his early 40s.
Oh, God. He's got to be having a bit of a crisis, right? What if all of the Kevin MacLeod music now is going to be like rock music?
Yeah. Dad rock.
Rock music.
It's just all Nickelback sound-alikes.
And he's just wearing leather.
Yeah.
And Ed Hardy shirts.
Yep. All right. I would say now, knowing that his music has been in 1,000 movies, $2.1 million.
Steve, I'll say you are in range.
Really?
The internet estimates Kevin MacLeod in 2021 is worth.
Wait, before you tell me, are you on? Is it like CelebrityNetWorth.com?
This is another way. No, this is like Finance Rewind.
Does it give a short blurb about the person?
It does.
I want to hear what they say about. I want to hear the entire blurb.
Okay, there is quite a bit now.
I want to hear how he is billed. Is he a online music entrepreneur or something?
American composer and musician, composed over 2,000 pieces of royalty-free library music. Even made them available under Creative Commons copyright license. Allows anyone to use his music for free as long as he receives attribution. Led to his music being used more than 1,000 times in film. Also been used in commercial video games as well as a large number of YouTube videos and pornographic films, as we said. Such a great musician and composer, holds a special position in most people's hearts. Has his origin in New York City, in the United States. Library music, film music, video game music. Started in 1996. So he's been doing this for 25 years.
Good for him.
Banging away on the keyboard at home. Owns a website called Incompetech. Contributed through music distribution, documentary, and won a number of awards for his work. Let's see if they list the awards. He started with the International Honorary Web Video Award at the 2015 German Web Video Awards. Boy, fly to Germany for that's prestigious.
Well,
that was presented by the European Web Video Academy.
I mean, look, say what you want about the guy, but what did I guess? 2.1 million. You said I'm within range. Yeah. That guy has found his niche.
No question.
And he's taking full advantage.
It helps that he's the first one who really did this. Right?
Yeah.
Like he was and is the name in regards to royalty-free music online. Yeah. Now, I still have no explanation through this how that's translated into dollars.
Yeah, who knows?
But the estimation for Kevin MacLeod's net worth this year, between $1 and $5 million.
Okay. So it's a very broad range. But
yeah.
Still, even if he's worth $1 million,
they're saying he's a millionaire.
He's a millionaire.
At least a millionaire. Yeah. 48 years old.
Yeah. Do you ever Google your own name? For net worth?
Well, it wouldn't show up. You'd get one of those just big question marks. Like, did you mean...
It's the one thing that you search on the internet that yields 0 results. It's just like your computer just says, no. That
would be always like, did you mean Kyle someone else? Yeah. And it's going to be like a Australian rugby player.
Kyle Parkinson's.
Yeah. And it's like,
he invented the disease.
He's really rich because he named Parkinson's and got a copyright. So people have died for his name. And that's when we shut down the internet because...
Oh, can I copyright, like, cancer?
I wonder. I mean, it seems like in today's day and age, because what is Ohio State trying to...
Yeah.
Or
the. Yeah. However you want to say it.
So maybe we can just get away with anything. Should we just throw a list of words at the Copyright Office?
Yeah.
What does it cost to copyright something? Like, can we just throw like 1 million of these for free and just see if one slips through?
Yeah. Haha.
Yeah.
Next time someone says mayonnaise.
Yeah.
We're getting paid.
Anytime somebody says the Patagonia patio or what was our rival to the discussion den?
Oh, the something pagoda.
Something pagoda. Anytime somebody says that, it's Steve and I are going to get a quarter.
That's all ours.
But we mentioned, trying to up our celebrity status, right?
Yeah,
because we're clearly in the lower half of the alphabet.
We were M.
We're
sights set on L by the end of the year.
We'd really love to get L by 2022. And a while ago, we started this where we mentioned it. We made a couple of appearances. Did quite an extended appearance with our friends at We Need to Talk.
That was
Pep
fun.
and a meter.
That was a lot of fun. By the way, I'm coming around to Pepin's way of thinking with buying the eggs in massive bulk.
Well, this is all related to your diet.
Yeah, not eating them in.
You're still not going to make 12 egg omelets?
No, but I am now that I'm in the next phase of my diet where I can reintroduce certain stuff like eggs. I'm tearing through them. I'm tearing through. We bought a dozen the other day, and I was like, "What? Why? Why even bother? We need like 4 dozen." Yeah. So I think I'm going to go to the bulk big box store.
Wow. Little Stevie-etto munching down a bunch
I'm doing,
of hard-boiled.
Yeah, but I'm doing the hard-boiled a little bit, but now I can have I can actually cook them. Oh. So I'm doing omelets and stuff.
So not as miserable as it once was.
I'll tell you what, I love the little Tommyetto breakfast.
Oh my God.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't. I love a hard-boiled egg.
Again, the Tommyetto.
Love it.
The Tommyetto breakfast was birthed of our imagination of Thomas Edison eating lunch in the cafeteria and having an apple.
Yeah, we described him as the kid that sat by himself in the corner. He was a little different.
It was weird. He was a weird dude. I mean, but I think inherently you have to be that type of creative.
Yeah.
Creatives aren't what most people would consider normal.
Yeah, I'm not throwing shade at little Tommyetto.
No, little Tommyetto, I mean, for crying out loud, he has the most patents in the world, if I remember right.
How about that light bulb?
Doesn't take away from the fact.
He's got the Edison bulb.
Yeah, a little old bulb.
Yeah.
That doesn't take away from the fact that he, quite honestly, would sit in the corner of the cafeteria by himself munching on an apple and a hard-boiled egg.
Yeah, with a little salt shaker.
Every day.
You take a bite, a little salt, take another bite, a little salt. I don't know why we came up with that. I believe that is enshrined at steveandkyle.com/merch. I believe that.
I don't remember. We got a design.
Oh, I thought Nikki made a design, and I thought we put it up there.
Oh, maybe it might be in there. It might be. I would have to double check. So, you're reintroducing eggs. So we did the hit on We Need to Talk. We talked to Pepin and Meter. We did 1v1, part of the Boss Rush Network. Their friend Jesse Douglas. That's still there as well. You can find that. But we had the one that we talked about. We kind of tried to sick the army on. Now we have evidence of the brothers Humphrey. I don't know if they just don't know how to use technology, and it was, again, Jeremy, Stephen, you can't eat the phone when you're typing out a message. Crying out loud. Said that they wouldn't let them post a message to them.
Do you think they were too busy or too confused because they were doing knuckle cracking workouts? Because that's no doubt how they spend their time.
They're going to Planet Fitness, and if somebody walks by and goes, "Hey, what day is it for you?" Same as every other day. Knuckle cracking day.
And they just have those little, what are those little exercises?
Springs, right?
Yeah, it's like a thing that you hold in your hand. It's just 2 handles, but you squeeze it, and it's got a big spring on it. Who uses that? What are they for?
What is that? I think it's for carpal tunnel.
Does
that help with that?
I remember my grandfather had one.
Really?
Of them, so maybe, yeah.
It is a grandfather exercise thing.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, there's nobody, unless you have a medical ailment or you're like, hey, I broke my wrist and so I'm regaining strength.
Right.
Nobody's using that to fix a medical issue. What do you even search
for that? Like wrist
exercise? Wrist flex machine. It's got to be.
Exerciser.
But we had a few people message the commercial break, who we talked about and I declared war on not very long ago. Mm-hmm. Steve, it seems, and you texted me, I believe it was this week, maybe it was last week, you have a bit of an update.
I do, yeah. We have a big update with them.
Because our communications with Brian and Chrissy, with Brian.
Yeah, with Brian. Yeah, exactly. I was dealing specifically with Brian. He was the one who had originally reached out and said, hey, we should do something. That was back right before your boo-boo, and everything got all thrown off after that. So tried to reach out to them earlier in the year, never heard back. And then we sicked the army on him. And he sent me a message last week. He sent me an email.
Which is great.
He sent me an email with the subject line, "Game on."
Oh, okay. All right. So he seems like he's going along with it, going along for the ride. That's good.
He said, so I got an interesting email from one of our listeners who also happened to listen to your show saying you all were talking about us.
I think that's by accident. We seem to give podcasts. I mean, you're welcome pop culture leftovers.
He said, then we had some Instagram comments from a few of your listeners that we ghosted you. First, well played. Second, I sent this email back in April and never got a response. So I thought you all actually changed your mind. Did you get this? He did send me, I mean, unless he fabricated this whole thing, according to this, he sent me an email on April 15th at 7:08 saying, Chrissy and I spoke and we think we could make the second weekend in May work. Thoughts, let me know, and we can jump on a call to discuss topics.
Already more preparation than we do.
So there was a bunch of back and forths. I believe it was all an honest thing. He said in their defense, their email, for whatever reason, was not working correctly for a couple of weeks, and it seemed like it would align with the time that I was sending emails. So we are tentatively scheduled for July 20th to record with them. Yeah,
all right.
The Commercial Break podcast.
So the Commercial Break pod will be on with them hopefully next month.
Yeah. And
assuming
I think
nothing else, comes up or happens.
Yeah, I think tentatively what the plan is to record it, obviously, and then both of us release it.
Oh, okay.
So
that
at least
might
that's kind of what we had spitballed at first. So it wouldn't really be an episode of our podcast or an episode of their podcast.
Yeah,
it would just kind of be like a little collaboration. But I'm really looking forward to doing that. Brian and I also exchange numbers, so if one of us goes dark, we can text the other one and say, "Hey, I sent an email, didn't hear back. Let me know." So I'm pumped. I'm excited about that.
I'm very excited.
They seem like very, very fun people, very nice people. So yeah, we're gonna jump on a call with them at some point in the next week or two, probably to just kind of a getting to know you thing.
So there's a chance. I mean, who knows? We haven't talked about this, so who knows how we'll release episodes that area. That might be a bonus episode.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the episode we released July 27, which would be the week after we recorded on July 20. So stay tuned for that. But I have no problem maybe releasing that as a bonus episode.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Even if it is just fully their podcast, or if we can just cross post it or whatever. We'll definitely let you know when it comes out how you can listen to it, and obviously if you want to check them out, it's The Commercial Break
on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah,
you can find them there. It's Brian and Chrissy.
Actually, on Instagram, I think it's.
I thought it was The Commercial Break. That's where we sent people a couple of weeks ago.
Is it?
Yeah. I'm excited. And hey, the door is open.
Yeah, it is The Commercial Break.
The door is open. I don't blame people for being hesitant, but I see other podcasts that follow us and that have. Like some of our posts and stuff. Listen, reach out. We're open for business.
Mm-hmm.
We still need to get on with the Brothers Humphrey.
Yes,
at some point. I'm assuming they put the top of Jeremy's head back on. So
no offense.
No offense. Yeah, sorry. I think hopefully he would be ready to go. If not, let us know. But yeah, we're open for business. The revolving door of the Steve and Kyle podcast. We're looking to get out there, do other shows, impart our wisdom and our years of experience on other podcasts, and really, really force ourselves down the throat of the audience, other audiences. We're
trying to prepare the next generation.
Yeah,
because we're up there. I'm in my late 30s. You're in your mid
34,
mid 30s.
Yeah,
that's early.
Is it 34 still early?
Yeah,
early 30s, late 30s. We've been in the game a long time. I mean, technically, Steve, you were part of a podcast in 2010. 2009 when you came over here and you started releasing the podcast for the side gig.
Mm-hmm.
So
2009, yeah.
And I've been podcasting since 2010.
Mm-hmm. So. I was never on any of your podcasts, was I?
You had to have been.
Oh, I remember you guys calling me one time.
Yeah, there's no question that we talked to you.
You called me from the production room.
Yeah,
and I was in my booth.
Oh, was that what we did? So
Yeah.
It was during the show that we were recording.
I think it was after the show, but I remember looking down at my phone and being, you're like 4 doors away.
I have a lot of regret that I don't have all of that audio. I think that would be a very fun look back.
So you
at some of those episodes that
you can't log into those old accounts and download.
No, because what happened was we were doing, for the most part, like the free storage accounts, and those were hard limits.
Mm-hmm.
So right now our storage is a rolling limit, so it resets every month.
Yeah.
Whereas back then it was like, hey, you're capped at this.
Yeah.
So once we got to 15, 20 episodes, we had to delete the old one. So I had them saved at one point on a
flash
old computer, and I'm sure there's no way I have a computer from that era anymore. I would have thrown it in the garbage and smashed the hard drive up. So the old A Little Off Topics I'd love to listen to.
Riding the Pine.
The Riding the Pines would be probably less fun to listen to because those were super timely sports stories.
It would probably be fun, though, to look back at them in hindsight.
Oh, and listen, I stand by what we did back then. I thought a lot of it was funny. I mean, we had the Golden Throat, Len O'Kelly.
Yeah.
You guys were kind enough to let us use him to record some line in the lowest realm of his professional voiceover career. He was recording us an intro for the Tim Tebow statistical update, God's favorite backup quarterback, which we brought back on this podcast.
Who would have thought that, 10 years later, you could still be doing that update?
I thought about we should have brought it back a couple of weeks ago when he got re-signed to play football. Obviously, that time has passed, but
time has passed. Did he get cut?
No.
Oh, you mean the time has passed?
The time to announce that he's back. Yeah, that would have been a neat way to let you know that he's back in football if you had not found out. So, yeah, if anybody... I know our friend Chris Pruitt down in Tennessee had been kind of collecting all of the podcasts that I had been a part of over the years, and he reached out to me a couple of times, Steve, to ask if I had some of this old audio. I want to say it was from Riding the Pine, which I don't. But he may have all of the little off-topic appearances.
There's someone out there. There is definitely someone out there who has it.
Let me search for a little off-topic. Because, if they're still out there, I'd love to. If you have that, please let me know.
Did you guys post them to Facebook too?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had a Facebook page for a little off-topic. We had a Facebook page for Riding the Pine. Oh, yeah. Yep. It's still listed. If you search for a little off topic in Apple Podcasts, it's still listed as FBHW Interns Podcast. Doesn't even have a picture anymore.
So you can't download them from there, though?
Let me see. It only goes back to episode 18.
So you don't have
episode 14.
So 1 through 13. They're the...
Hey, got quite a popularity. You know how if you're in the old iTunes, it has like a popularity bar.
Yeah.
Apparently we released quite a hot episode from September 17, 2010.
Oh, I wonder what the topic was.
Because it's quite high on the popularity bar. Oh, we can't play that because that is going to be copyright. Back then, it was so different.
It was the Wild West.
Like, there wasn't as, and I'm sure, the law still existed, but back in 2010, podcasts were new. Very new.
Yeah, relatively.
Like, there weren't super popular podcasts in 2010.
Yeah, there were a lot of radio shows that, like what the Side Gig does, where you repurpose your radio show as a podcast.
Yeah.
But original, it was definitely a lot less.
I feel like we got away. At any point, a music label could simply hear this or find these and say, hey, what were you doing? Yeah. I know it was 11 years ago. Take them down. And we would, and I'd remove them. Oh, what do I care? Yeah, sure. It's a podcast I did 11 years ago. Remove them.
Yeah.
Let's see what we were talking about, Steve. 23 minutes in.
All right, so you're just gonna
so it's not gonna be great audio unless we. Yeah.
Oh, here, if you want, you want to use this?
Yeah, you send it over.
Yeah. There you go. You just let me know when you're ready, and I'll fire it up.
All right. Yeah. All right, let's see what we're talking about, Kyle. And I don't even know who was on the podcast at this point, because in September 2010, it was a little off topic, had a couple of different incarnations.
Yeah.
It was me and Andy 2 times, and Rape Stash Wet Hands, There was Lurch. There was Andy 2 times. I believe Purple Heart Matt was on an incarnation.
All
See,
right.
we're talking about 23 minutes in, Steve.
And go. Is it playing?
That's what happens when I don't download it, so I'm streaming it. Yeah, it's connecting. I'm sure it's going to hit any second now.
Any moment now. Any moment. Okay, there's a
There
laugh.
it is. There it is. You can't beat Rotten Tomatoes Stan.
RTS is your nickname,
RT
bro.
That's Lurch.
Yes!
RTS.
RTS for life.
Wait,
Anyway,
Rotten
Andy,
Tomatoes
did you
Stan,
wanna
is that
talk
Stan the
about-
movie
you
man?
have written down here some...
Has to have been.
Yeah.
Andy's
Yeah, no, I
is
didn't.
what Lurch put down.
I didn't write that.
That's Andy.
That's Andy,
I
all
think
right.
That's Andy
it's
2
like
times.
backwards K's.
Yeah,
It's like he stopped going to school in first grade.
it's just a picture of a circle with a line through it. I'm like, yeah. No, I've had some pretty interesting things happen to me at the old occupational place in which.
Yeah, and if anybody doesn't know, it is the Dopely.
Pause.
Yeah.
I can't.
Pause. I had some pretty interesting things happen to me at the old occupational place. You mean your job?
Yeah.
Just
It's-
say work.
It was an epidemic.
That is. Well, after dinner tonight, I'm gonna have an adult beverage.
I think it was this epidemic of feeling like we had to say more words than we obviously needed to, right? It's this, hey, I've got to fill time. I can't just say, I
was at work. I was at work yesterday.
But it also, that type of stuff comes with time, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I can't throw stones because I'm sure as soon as I do, somebody will send me a montage of me saying things stupid.
Sure.
But it's not us that we're making fun of, so it's okay.
It's me and a former.
Yeah, you're part of it. So, Kyle, is it okay if I make fun of this?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Time while he's nowhere to be found. He comes out from wherever he was. I was working, wasn't really paying attention what the heck he was doing, and comes walking up to the front counter and he says, "Excuse me." Yes, sure. Hi. How can I help you?
Really funny, I bet.
Somebody did something in your bathroom.
Oh, no.
You might want to check it out.
Oh, this is bad.
I'm not
news.
really interested
Really?
in this.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Sorry, Andy.
Man, talk about somebody who just fell off the face of the planet.
Oh, man, this thing
That guy
sucked,
he
didn't it?
moved to California, never to be heard from again. I remember Andy. I loved Andy. Andy was a great intern.
Good man.
And, just super nice guy, always happy, always excited about something. And I think he was still interning at the time, or it was like right before his internship may have finished, but he came in to see us one day and he was like, "Hey, I'm moving to California." We're like, "Oh, awesome." And he had a job lined up and he was pretty excited about it. And I remember at that point, I wasn't Facebook friends with him. And I was like, "Oh, I should send him a friend request so I can keep up with the antics of Andy 2 times." And clicked request. And it was something absurd. Like 6 years later, he accepted the friend request. It was like he discovered, oh, yeah, I had a Facebook account one time.
Yeah.
And he logged into it, after doing numerous reset your passwords, no doubt.
Oh, my God.
And I don't think he's posted since.
No, there's no question. I'm sure I'm still friends with him on social media as well. And it's probably been that same amount of time. Good God, that's some bad stuff that I used to record and probably leave and go, man, just a matter of time.
You walked out walking through the halls of the radio station, be like, "I'm gonna have your job. I'm gonna have your job. I'm gonna have your job."
That era of podcasting for me, though, has led to one of my favorite memories of all time in that building. And you know about this story.
Is this the Joe story?
Was that his name?
Yeah, not Joe from
Not
the
from
side
the radio
gig.
show. Yeah, to clarify before anybody even considers it, everybody from the side gig was insanely supportive of us doing this crap, this podcast.
Yeah, we would.
You would release it
Yeah,
sometimes.
you guys would record an episode during the week and then send it to me, and I would put it on our podcast feed for like a Saturday podcast.
Yeah, and in hindsight, that all should have been vetted.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
Like deeply. It's probably horrible, but
whatever.
one of it was Joe, another employee, and I have no idea where this guy is anymore. I didn't even know that was his name. I'd forgotten his name, so I'm glad you did. We had recorded this podcast similar times in the same booth that was never used.
You guys would record like evening, basically.
It was
like
always
6
at night.
p.m. or
Yes.
so.
Yeah.
So nobody was in the building because you guys were, obviously you all had jobs, but you were also very respectful of the fact that this was where business was
No
happening.
question.
So you would come in, I remember you would always say like, hey, do you think we can get in there? Or, you know, we just want to do it without, causing too many issues.
Yeah, and I mean, even when I worked at the side gig, I did that extensively too. I didn't want to be in there if somebody who was doing real work needed a room because I'm taking up space.
Right.
And that's the way I felt with this thing that we were honestly doing just for fun. There was no reward other than experience talking into a microphone for us. So we would show up evening time, sometimes 8, 9 o'clock. It didn't, it was a different time back then for us. We're younger, college things, whatever. And one night we were there. It was myself. It was Rolling Thunder, TJ.
Yeah, TJ.
And Nader Tot. And they were doing something downtown that night. So TJ's girlfriend was there, literally sitting on the floor, like looking at a textbook or something for school. And the way it was a production booth at that point. I don't know what it is now. And it had a door with, kind of not a porthole window, but a long rectangular window.
Long skinny window.
Yeah, right in the center.
Like
so you couldn't see a ton.
In every classroom in every school that you've ever been in.
So you couldn't see a ton, but you could see, hey, someone's walking by, or you could see, if someone was looking in, you could then see. And I had seen this guy around the building. I had spoken to him very rarely.
Yeah, just hey, how's it going?
My presence had been known there, and it should be said, to get into this building and on this floor and in this office, because this is a large building with many floors and many offices.
You need keys.
You need a badge.
Yeah.
And a badge that has to read to this door, whatever. Finally, we're recording this podcast, and I become so distracted as I'm facing that window as someone keeps walking by. But then after a while, they start just staring into the window. And they may have done some upgrades because that room back then was not soundproof.
No, it wasn't ideal.
I generally talk a little louder anyway, but with 2 or 3 people talking, and the light was on, obviously, we kept it low because it would get really hot in there, but we weren't hiding by any sense of the word, right? Eventually, he's staring in the window. And finally, mid-record, I say something to the degree of, I'm sorry, I'm so distracted. Somebody's staring at us through the front window. Yeah. And he must have heard it at that point, because he kicks the door open and storms in. Now, there's an on-air light.
Yeah.
It's not a live studio to live air.
It's a recording light.
It's a recording light. So he knew we had open microphones at that point, which I know it's recording, whatever. It's kind of a no-no to just burst into a room.
It's one of the unspoken rules.
And I don't remember the entire context, but at one point the words were said, I'm the king of this floor right now. By him. Because he didn't recognize us.
I remember you texting me and saying he also said something like, yeah, because you were like, hey, I don't know what just happened, but if this gets back, then, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, you were very apologetic, but I remember you telling me that he said something along the lines of, like, it was like, after 5 p.m., I run this place.
That's what it was. Yeah, and honestly, all he was like,
he was the afternoon. He was the afternoon DJ on a radio station.
Like, that was it. And I'm like, we were somewhat apologetic, but after a minute, we started getting like, not testy, but to the degree of, hey, I have a badge. I work here at this point. I wasn't just an intern at that point. Like, my internship had ended, and I worked for you guys. Or no, I worked at the station.
Yeah.
Like, I have approval to come into this building. Like, I asked as many people as I could find if this was okay, and everybody said it's okay.
Yeah, surprisingly, Joe, you weren't on the list of people I was told to ask.
Unbelievable encounter to the point where we're red in the face. It's kind of, and I start texting you, and I thought that would be the end of it. But it wasn't, because old Joe decided to bring that to management the next day, because it didn't come back to me. It came to you.
It did, yeah.
And to no surprise, it was sent to you in a bit of a slanted manner, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember who
It was JT.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And you said he came up to you in the hallway the next day and said, "Hey, what gives? You have interns giving these guys a hard time," or something like that.
Yeah.
And you told me that in hindsight, and I couldn't help but laugh.
Yeah.
Because I was a 21, 22-year-old just out of interning, part-time board operation that JT,
hired you for. Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah, I
the
remember.
last thing I was getting was anything out of order, out of line to an afternoon jock.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Oh,
you guys
my
were in there
God.
doing your thing.
One of my
It
favorite
would have been one
moments.
thing if he needed to get in there.
Sure.
Needed to use the room.
And I would have left because it's the bigger of the recording booths. So he could there was at least at that point 2 other rooms he could have gone into if he needed to record.
Joe. Oh, I want to say your last name, but I won't.
I don't even remember it, but I remember his face, and I remember that conversation because I don't think I've ever had someone, and this isn't any disrespect to people who do that job.
Just texted it to you, by the way.
I don't think I've ever had anybody in a lower position say, like, I run anything.
Right.
Than that guy.
Right. Yeah. After 5 p.m., I run this place.
Imagine having the balls to be like, when the bosses leave, I'm on the clock.
So basically what you're saying is, I'm the second shift manager. Nobody's ever said that with such pride.
That it was very Dwight from The Office.
Yeah, he was the assistant to the region.
And he would just wait for Michael to be out of the office and claim himself like the stand-in manager. That was this guy from the radio station. He did not.
That guy.
Unsurprisingly, he did not last.
No, he didn't last very
much
long.
Longer after
he was.
that.
I remember him being fired.
I didn't get.
He was. There was something that happened. He was fired, and then he tried to do the whole, I'm going to sue the company. I don't think that worked out well for him.
I didn't get the invite to the farewell party.
Yeah.
Must have lost my address.
Hey, before we wrap up, I need to ask you.
Sure.
There was a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago at this point.
Oh, I know.
You came in very excited. I think it was while we were recording, you actually got a message.
Yeah, I almost had to scrap the whole recording.
Because, now look, we've said numerous times, this last year and a half, while it's been rough on most of America, you've just been cashing in.
Hand over fist.
You bought many new cars. We got 4 cars now.
I just buy them when I see that it's hard rain. Yeah, I buy them anytime I can find them.
You don't even want them. You just buy them.
Don't have a spot for them.
So you've been, jet setting and globe trotting around the world, making, going on vacations, very, very fancy vacations, making big extravagant purchases. Mm-hmm. Your latest purchase, you finally pulled the trigger. You apparently had been looking for this for a long time.
Yeah.
A stand-up, like full arcade. Yeah. They call it a cabinet game. Is that what it's called?
It's called a cabinet.
A cabinet, a golden tea cabinet.
Oh, so now we talked about it, so I'm not going to break down everything about it. But if you've seen golden tea at a bar, just know it's not that. Golden tea at a bar has the massive monitor, typically on a wall, and then almost like 5 to 6 feet, and then a full control display with everything on it to roll the ball and everything. That's not this. It's
kind of like a scaled down version, like a home version.
Yep, it is.
But it's still 6 feet tall.
It's 5 feet tall, 2 feet wide. Yeah. It's got the roller ball. And Steve, I got it. Oh yeah, I got it. And
you've been playing like crazy?
I wouldn't say like crazy. And
how many times have you played? Does it have a counter on there that tells you how many hours you've played?
But it does like keep course records. So if I went and played tomorrow and I hit, the longest putt, it would have my initials there already for longest putt, and I would then go over it.
So your initials would be on there with all of your other initials.
No, because I think they have like the generic computer input ones that you have to beat.
Does this thing, is it hooked up to the internet so you can play other people?
No, so this version is like just a standalone. They haven't made, the hope is that this company's massive now. This was a huge success. All of these games for them. I mean, they have NBA Jam, Big Buck Hunter.
NBA Jam, I would love to play that.
Yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighter.
NBA Jam.
They have a Mortal Kombat one. They have pinball ones, Pac-Man. I mean, and these, for the most part, these things sell out. They're so hard to find. This company, they're doing a good job. They look really nice, and it's a real. I feel like nostalgia to this degree wasn't a thing up until probably 10 or 15 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. Like in the mid 2000s, it didn't feel to me like there were so many movies set in the 80s.
Yeah.
But now you have Stranger Things that's a wild success. Mm-hmm. You have all of these movies that set back in that time frame that people adore. I feel like it's a real wave of nostalgia that people are pining for.
Right.
And these arcade games provide that.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not Pac-Man. It's not any of that. And I wasn't really like a go to the arcade all the time as a kid to play a certain arcade game. That was never me. Mm-hmm. It was teenage years playing Golden Tee at the bar.
Yeah.
So I wanted this thing bad. And sure enough, 5 feet high, 2 feet wide. It's got the roller ball right in the center. It fires up, and I'm right back there.
So do you play this on a daily basis?
No. There's
a couple times a week?
Yeah, a couple times a week.
Is it loud? Because I feel like when you hit the ball, because I know playing it at the bar, you hit the ball, and it's a considerable thud. Well, that and because if you time it just wrong, because what you're doing if you've never played it, you're taking your hand, your palm down, you swing your arm back and then follow through, and you have to hit the ball. But if you hit a little low, then it's like
thunk.
I mean, it's a big thud.
So this isn't a flawless version of Golden Tee because it is a compact version. So one of the issues you have is if you're a heavy Golden Tee hand like me, your hand could get on the monitor.
Screen. Yeah.
So you have to kind of be not just. You don't have to hit it that hard. It's not a strongest
it's
man.
Silly.
It's not mallet whack.
It's not real golf.
But it's so hard to get out of that. And one of the gripes people have about it is very loud. The actual audio.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, the way they tuned
turn it down?
They have 3 levels, but it's off, low, high, and the low is still obnoxiously loud.
So they're building this thing for the man cave where there's going to be
no question
a bunch of dudes over there.
Yep.
Okay.
But
you're enjoying it, not regretting the purchase?
There's no regret. And part of it, so it's twofold for me in terms of why I'm not playing it all the time. One, I really didn't want to burn myself out and after 20 days say, I've done all I can do there. Let's get rid of it. And two, you can golf 18 holes in probably 25 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Some days that's impossible. Some days it's possible, but you have other things you want to do. It's just a prioritization issue. And I'm not home anymore for work, so it's not like I'm punching out and then 5 feet away is my Golden Tee that I can hit quick. I'm driving home, picking dogs up, picking kid up, whatever. And I really did not want it to become this thing because then it's a point. See, I told you didn't need that. By nobody in particular, just in general.
Sure.
That's why that's a dumb purchase.
Yeah.
You're already bored by it.
I'm
glad to hear. Fear.
I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying it.
I love it, Steve. It's not my Comanche because I didn't have to do anything with it, right? But boy, oh boy, it's something it didn't exist up until a few years ago.
Sure. Yeah.
But once you find out it exists and it's something realistic, it's not overly priced. When they were released, you could get one for $300. You realize, hey,
that's pretty good.
This is an attainable dream. It's not big. It's perfect for people like me who refuse to let go of this idiotic idea that, they just had so much fun playing Golden Tee.
All right, so we are just about wrapped up. Is there anything you wanted to get to?
Yeah. Steve, I messaged you yesterday. And there's no real good way to transition into this. And I talked to you about that yesterday.
You do it. You cue me when you want the music to start.
Yeah. So, I have a degree in journalism. I generally like writing.
Mm-hmm. You were going to be a newspaper man.
Going to be a newsman.
A newsman.
That's right. My colleagues, other newsmen and other newswomen.
Newswomen?
Yeah, it's just like postmaster.
Yeah, general postmaster.
General postmaster. Newswoman.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the news museum.
Yeah.
And I'd been thinking recently about upcoming Father's Day, which, by the way, Steve, happy Father's Day to you
happy
tomorrow.
Father's Day to you. Thank you.
Happy Father's Day.
Can't be said enough.
To all the fathers out there.
Yeah.
So without further ado,
Everyone's got a father,
That is scientifically true.
Everyone's got a father.
Everyone has a father.
It's one thing in this world that we all have in common.
The one item that we all share, having a dad.
Yep. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. It's a little knowledge drop right there.
It's just science. I don't know. So without further ado, Steve, I wrote a little something, and this is a total change of pace.
Okay.
Wrote a little something that I thought is pertinent to me.
Is it a haiku?
It's not a haiku.
Okay.
It is, as I texted to you, as my favorite radio show host out there, Dan Lebitard, would say, kind of an audio essay of sorts that I wrote. So just bear with me while I read through this.
In for it. Here we go.
Patience isn't someone everyone is born with. It's something you can grow into, though. It isn't an easy trait, but if I were asked today by any prospective parent what advice I had for them, it would be entirely about patience. I fall into that group that wasn't born with patience, at least not enough to be considered a good trait. I would fly off the handle too quick. I would show an ugly temper. It affected relationships in a negative light. I was lucky none of those irrevocably. It's easy for parents to get frustrated. On the best of days, you're a firefighter with a hose hooked up to a fire hydrant. On the worst, it can feel like running around with a small pail trying to contain a 5-alarm fire. Oh, and that bucket's going to have a hole in it, too. Oddly enough, those are the most important moments, I think. While they're the most hectic and probably the most frustrating, they can be so instrumental in building what you need to be a good parent. Patience goes a long way. Parenting isn't simply imparting pieces of you onto your children. It's a two-way street, as much as it may not seem like it. Being a dad has taught me the patience that I never had. It's the moments where something goes wrong and you immediately think, someone is in the wrong for this. Then you see a quivering lip. Maybe you hear an uh-oh. Or maybe the tears precede any of those. You learn from those moments more than they would from your anger. It's a two-way street. Memories of smiles, giggles, playing, and loving far outweigh any feeling that sits on your chest if you have a moment of fleeting anger. Both your memories and your kids'. There's more to gain from showing patience than there is in proving a point. Your heart will regret the latter in hindsight anyway. We've come a long way from stereotypes of hard-nosed, stoic, and emotionless father figures. Cry with your kids. Cry for your kids. Hug them. Tell them you love them. Apologize to them if you let your emotions get the best of you. It's okay to be vulnerable. Parenting is a two-way street. There isn't any such thing as a perfect parent. Just someone who loves as much as they can and wants to learn from their children as much as they can. He may not even be 3 years old, but my son has given me so much more in life experience than he'll ever know that he did. My son has made me a different man by making me his father. He deserves the best version of me that I can become. Patience is just one of those ingredients I get to thank him for as time passes. I want him to remember growing up as a sum of positive moments rather than the remainder of, hopefully, much fewer negative ones. As he grows into the person he's going to be, the least I can do is try to grow from his experiences too. After all, it is a two-way street. Being a dad is the coolest thing ever. I'm just lucky I get to do it and learn along the way how to be a dad and how to be a better man. Happy Father's Day to you, Steve. And happy Father's
Day to you, too, as well. Very well said. Sorry. We can't get too serious. Around
No,
here.
good God, no. That's the it's the perfect bookend.
It's the palate cleanse.
Yeah.
That was very well written.
Thank you.
Extremely relatable.
Thank you.
If you had said that a year and a half ago, I would have told her to shut the F up. Oh, boy. Oh, I got a kid. Remember, everyone's got a dad.
Everyone's got a dad. That is, if you can take away literally anything from today's show. Everyone has a dad.
Now, I like that a lot. That was very, very well said.
Thank you. I know. Again, I know it's a bit different.
I too struggle with patience every single day.
It's
every day.
It is the biggest strain on parents that I can think of in the couple of years I've been a parent. It is the showing patience, being patient, not getting upset at small items.
You see me making the peanut butter and jelly. I'm cutting it into the little tiny squares. You're going to have this in your hand in less than 10 seconds.
I need 40 seconds. That's it. Here's what I cannot deal with for 40 seconds. That outburst.
So you're still working on your patience.
Still working. We're all a work in progress, Steve.
All right, happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. Remember, everyone has a father. Whatever. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at Steve and Kyle.
Yeah, if you don't know where to find us by now, you're stupid.
So's your dad. You got it from him. See you next week.